Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to our channel. This episode, we'd like to talk about Peru again. It's absolutely one of our favorites and one of the most memorable international destinations. Previously, we had created a bunch of videos and vlogs documenting each stop in Peru, but today, this episode is going to be full of insightful tips and practical recommendations straight to the point. So whether you're planning your perfect trip to Peru months ahead, or if you're traveling soon, be sure to watch until the end. We love traveling and we always want to bring you the best content possible, so do like and subscribe. This is the best way to support us. So before your trip, let's talk about the most important thing, planning ahead. Especially if you're thinking about staying in Peruvian Amazon or Lake Titicaca, those lodging options can really book up fast, especially the unique ones. We actually started planning our trips 3 to 4 months ahead because of this reason, just to make sure we got a place we want. Next up, vaccination and house preparation. If you're only gonna go to bigger cities like Lima, Cusco, or even Machu Picchu, you will probably be fine without additional vaccinations. However, if your itinerary is adventurous and you're planning to get closer to wild animals, or if you're going deep in Amazon forest, then you absolutely need vaccinations. The tricky part is, if you're in the United States, your primary care provider may or may not have travel medicine certification. So if they don't, then they'd have to refer you to travel medicine specialists, or you have to go find travel clinics. Either way, you do want to include that turnaround time before your trip. Also, make sure you bring altitude sickness medication, super critical. Now let's talk about packing, because Peru's geography is no joke. You've got coast, mountain area, jungle, lake, all with totally different climates. So definitely bring layers. So one day you'll be in hot, humid Amazon, and then the next day you're freezing in the Andes. So we literally brought everything from a tank top all the way to hard shell jacket. We also packed insect repellent, sunscreen, a waterproof bags to protect all of our gears, flashlights, and even disposable towels. And honestly, what you pack really depends on how adventurous your itinerary is. If you're doing jungle adventure, or if you're hiking an Inca trail, or if you're gonna go to some remote Lake Titicaca area, then you definitely want to be more prepared. And finally, language. So do you need to learn Spanish? Not necessarily. In most touristy areas, bigger cities, Lima, like hotel and other popular attractions, you'll find people who speak at least some sort of English. But once you get outside of those areas, or even if you're in a local grocery stores within that bigger cities, English becomes a lot less common. So I definitely recommend learning a few basics, like how to order food, how to ask for direction, how to pay for stuff, just the basics. It will really make the experience a lot more interactive and honestly a lot more fun. So it doesn't hurt to learn a little bit. If there are any pre-travel topics that we didn't cover, comment below and we're happy to help out. During the trip, most people will fly into Lima, but honestly, it's way more than just a transit hub. There's actually a lot to do in Lima. Amazing food, really vibey neighborhoods, and just a great energy overall. I will share more specific recommendations later on in the video, so make sure you stick around for that. One practical tip: try to get some cash before you arrive. If you exchange money at an airport, the rates aren't great and they tend to favor the exchange counters. That said, if you do run out of cash later on, don't be panicked. It's not the end of the world. It actually happened to us in the second half of our trip. In Cusco, for example, a lot of local shops and vendors were willing to take US dollars directly to help exchange for money. But do just keep in mind that the rates may not be in your favor. For getting around, definitely stick with officially licensed taxi services. Those officially licensed taxi services usually will have a counter at a local airport, so don't just hop into some random people's car at the exit. Even if they look like rideshare drivers, some people dress like they are professional drivers but may end up scamming you. So always clarify the destination, always clarify the currency up front. Like, are we talking about 55 soles? Are we talking about $55? That makes a whole lot of difference. And this isn't just a Lima thing either. You'll see this situation in more rural areas as well. In Lima, you can also use Uber, which makes things easier. Just know that the traffic can get pretty bad because Lima is a big city. So if you're trying to get to some place on time, make sure you plan the buffer time into it. For traveling between cities, we actually recommend taking a bus. I know that might sound surprising, but the buses in Peru, and honestly, buses in a lot of South American countries, are really comfortable and really premium. They've got reclining chairs, air conditioning, they even have rest stops along the way so you can buy food. When it comes to like purchasing tickets, you can either buy online in advance or you just show up to the train stations. Either way, they do make long journey feel super manageable, and they're often very affordable and a lot more reliable than domestic flights. One of our domestic flight we took actually delayed for 4 hours. It just completely ruined that day. Now let's talk about food. Lima is definitely the food capital, with a huge variety of options and even some of the top ranked restaurants in the world. But if you're planning to try one of those top tier fine dining like Central, be sure to book months ahead to secure a reservation. Other cities like Cusco also have good food, but with a lot more like a regional twist. So you will see things like guinea pigs, alcapa on the menu. But once you get to the more remote area like Machu Picchu, food options becomes extremely limited. So make sure you stock up on snacks before heading out, because finding good food or even finding any food at all can be pretty tricky. One thing that really surprised us is that Peruvian food tend to be on the salty side, and it's just not savory. It's straight up salty. So if you're used to mild or lightly seasoned food, it could be a surprise for you too. And towards the end of our trip, we literally had to buy instant noodle because we couldn't handle the salty food anymore and we were craving for Asian food. And finally, elevation. This could be a big challenge for folks and something you really don't want to underestimate. Cities like Cusco are already pretty high up, and while it is manageable for most people, places like Rainbow Mountain can go up to around 5,000 meters. For me, it was absolutely a huge hurdle. My blood oxygen dropped like crazy low. I had to use an oxygen tank. I couldn't make it all the way to the top and ended up having to rent a horse. You know, everyone's body reacts differently, so at a certain point, even the altitude medication didn't help much. So listen to your body, don't get too ambitious, and try to not overpack your itinerary with intense schedule, because pushing too hard at a high elevation area can make the whole experience a lot less enjoyable and straight up risky. We found out the hard way because that's exactly the mistake that we made. We planned multiple back-to-back intense dates, and both of us got really sick for the second half of our trip. When it comes to strategizing and planning your overall itinerary, our recommendation will be try to do the more physically demanding, quote-unquote like hardcore parts of your trip first, while you still have energy. And then reserve places like Lima for the end, where you can relax, rewind, and recharge. We actually did the exact opposite, which proves that it wasn't our best decision. If you have questions about your itinerary and want us to weigh in, do drop a comment down below. Speaking of Lima, there are two neighborhoods we absolutely love, Miraflores and Blanco. Miraflores feels more modern and polished, while Blanco is colorful, artsy, and full of character. I definitely recommend staying in one of those areas. You can easily spend the day exploring a historic center or visiting the Larco Museum. There are tons of options, like I already mentioned, some of them best in the world. And just to reiterate, make sure you check their websites a couple months in advance if you don't want to miss some of the spots. We went to Kojo and it was ranked at that time as top 30th restaurant in the world. It was definitely an experience. A couple $100s per person. Pretty expensive, but very memorable. 9 to 10 different courses that came up one by one with introduction, and everything looks very presentable. So if you're looking for something like that, Coyo is one option. Central, which is the one next to it, is also a good option. And there are probably a couple more that belong to the same tier. If you're looking for something more affordable and laid back, Mangoes is a good option. You can try classic like ceviche and tecuchos. And Mangoes is located in La Comar, which is a shopping mall that sits right on a cliff with an amazing ocean view. Honestly, there's so many different good options to eat in Lima. You could probably dine out like every single meal and still could not cover everything. A good rule of thumb that worked for me at least is that anything above like 4 or 5 rating on Google Map with at least, a couple hundreds of review is usually a safe bet. So get your stomach ready, enjoy. Comment below on great food you have tried in Lima or restaurants you're excited to try. If you're in Lima and have an extra day, don't miss Huacachina. This incredible desert oasis is about like 4.5 hours away from Lima. It's a tiny little town surrounded by massive sand dunes, and the main attractions are all about sand. So boogie rides, sandboarding. The boogie rides were honestly one of the highlights of our trip. It just felt like an outdoor roller coaster. It was super addictive. We even caught a sunset at the end, which was surreal. And if you have more time, you can even stay overnight. There are a few lodging options, but most people do it in a day trip from Lima. You will be tired, but 100% worth it. Next up, the Peruvian Amazon. There are 2 main entry points, Iquitos and Puerto Maldonado. Iquitos is the more established one with better infrastructure, while Puerto Maldonado is the more recent thing. It's less commercial and the town still captures the local lifestyle. It's very much still like a rural, underdeveloped town, so don't have high expectation. But when it comes to lodging, you've got different options. On the high-end side, there are lodges with air conditioning, swimming pool, and even like buffet meals. We stay at Nai, which is super comfortable, and surprisingly we didn't even get a single mosquito bite. That just tells you how good the condition was. But if you're looking for something more adventurous and more immersive, there are also like much more rustic options, like cabins without windows. We've heard stories of people seeing hand-sized spider crawling on the patio. So yeah, it really depends on what kind of experience you want. Most lodging options do also offer tours, animal searching, chocolate making, fishing, visiting animal shelters, zip lining. There are just a ton to do. Each tour would take a couple hours to go to a different part of the forest. So we highly recommend you stay at least a couple of days to really soak it all in. And if we were to go back, we'd probably try Iquitos as well to see what it offers on the other side. Let us know your experience if you went to Iquitos. We want to hear about your stories. Now let's talk about Cusco, one of my personal favorites. It used to be the capital of the Inca Empire, and you can really feel the history and the culture everywhere. And the old town is very walkable, although it's pretty commercial. You'll find everything from luxury hotel to unique local stays. Most people use Cusco as a base to then visit Machu Picchu. There are also great day trips options outside of Machu Picchu, going to Sacred Valley, going to Rainbow Mountains. If you look up day tours from Cusco, you'll find tons of options online. That said, you can also book things last minute around the Plaza de Armas. That's basically the heart of the city, by the way. Nearby, you've got a cathedral, the Coricancha, the San Pedro market. There are also some great viewing points around the city. When it comes to food, there are some solid options. Like I said, guinea pigs, alcapas are on the menu. So if you're looking for something weird, something new, go for it. We didn't try, but I'm sure some people will like it. And don't miss the Three Monkeys coffee. It was great. I said Old Town alone probably worth a full day. If you're flying from a low elevation area like Lima, definitely give yourself a buffer day just to walk around the Cusco old city, just chill before doing anything too intense. Okay, Machu Picchu. It needs no introduction. But for us, it was a little bit underwhelming actually. Not because the view, not because the Machu Picchu itself, but because all the logistical hurdles and all the hassles around it. Let me explain. So if you're doing it as a day trip from Cusco and leaving your luggage behind, getting there is a journey. It's about a 2-hour bus from Cusco. And then you get to Ollantaytambo, and then you take a 2-hour train to get to Agua Caliente. And then you take another 30 minutes bus to go up to the main entrance. The actual Machu Picchu experience was only about 2 hours on the site with a tour guide. So if you're not hiking the Inca Trail, then you have to do the exact same thing to go back to Cusco. Plus, the entire thing felt pretty rushed and honestly was like really disorganized. In addition, the tour didn't actually stop for meals. So what that means is that you need to bring your own food and snacks with you. Otherwise, you have to wait until the whole thing is over and you might not get a proper meal until late afternoon. And that's, again, the hard lesson that we learned because like we didn't have lunch, we didn't have anything to eat until like 2, 3 in the afternoon. And by the time we were like super starving and we were not in any good mood to stay in Machu Picchu anymore. And then you still have to catch your returning train. Another alternative is to stay overnight in Ollantaytambo, which is a solid option and it gives you a little bit more time and makes your trip a little bit more relaxed. But the trade-off will be you then will need to bring all your luggages along all the way from Cusco to Machu Picchu, bring them with you to Ollantaytambo. That can be a hassle itself. It really depends on your travel style and how much time you have. Comment D if you plan to do a day trip, O if you stop by Ollantaytambo, and comment I if you plan to do the Inca Trail. Then there's Lake Titicaca, the magical lake that sits between Peru and Bolivia. The views were stunning, but what really made it unique are the floating islands. So to get a full experience, we recommend spending at least a night on one of those floating islands in the local community. On a floating island, you can actually feel the island moving beneath you. With the combination of high elevation, every step you take kind of feels like you're slightly drunk. It was a surreal experience. Lodging options on these islands usually get booked up pretty quickly, so make sure you plan ahead. And most of the lodging options do include activities like boat tour or visiting local communities. Others may include additional activities like kayaking or fishing, so it kind of depends on the lodging options. Dining option is extremely limited. So basically, either your hotel or your lodging cook for you, or there's literally only one restaurant on the floating island. And the one restaurant offers mainly like fried chicken and fried fish with rice. So that's kind of the food landscape. So don't get your expectation too high. Overall, Peru really has so much to offer and I'm getting so excited just by recapping my trip and verbalizing my experiences to you. We spent 15 days in Peru and even then we didn't get to experience everything on our list. Places like Arequipa and Huaraz are still on our radar, maybe for the next time. No matter where you go, I'm pretty sure you have a great time. Just remember the key tips. Plan early, prepare for the altitude, stay aware of your surroundings, and always pack additional food. We hope you enjoyed this video, and for each place we mentioned, we had created separate vlog videos. So definitely check out our Peru playlist. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button for us. That's the best way to support us. Thank you so much, enjoy your trip, and see you next time.